Hi there, my name is Magis, and today we have another car for review on our channel. It's another Volvo. After a few episodes ago that we reviewed the S60, this time we have the V60 in cross country configuration, and it's the former model, meaning that it is manufactured in 2015, this one. We have it here with the D4 configuration. It's 2.4 liter engine, diesel, with 5 cylinders, and torque converter, gearbox from Icene, and with all-wheel drive, sort of Haldex based system. The car has done nearly 197,000 kilometers until now. So we are continuing with the exterior of the car. Being the cross country, as you can see, it does have some additional covers outside the car, on the seals, on the wheel arches, and also the front and the rear bumper, with higher suspension that gives the car higher ground clearance. But honestly, it's not an SUV, so maybe it's good for some soft off-roading, even though I bet that most of the owners are gonna use the car inside the city or on the highway. I don't know. I was talking about the configuration. I already said the engine, the gearbox, and the all-wheel drive system. It does have an output of 190 horsepower and about 420 newton meters. So decent performance, or so I thought. At least on paper, the car does the sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 9 seconds or something like that, and the top speed is limited to 205. Not amazing, but any stretch of imagination. But after all, it doesn't have to be. Obviously, it's gonna be a car for your family, for long trips, especially for long trips. And I don't think that it's relevant how fast it is, or I don't know what's the top speed. More of an interest, maybe it's gonna be the consumption of the car, which is not low. I mean, for a diesel engine, the way people are expecting here in Romania to hear about the consumptions of diesel engines. But keep in mind that the car is quite heavy, about 1.8 tons. So yeah, you'll see most likely values at around 10% on the highway, 10 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, sort of 8 liters outside the city on national roads, obeying the speed limit, obviously. And inside the city, something like 11-12 if it's in the evening, more likely during the night time when the city is gonna be with less traffic. But during the day, at rush hour at least, you'll probably see values at as high as 13 or maybe 14 liters per 100 kilometers. In terms of the luggage space, being an estate, it's quite roomy back here. I'm not a fan of this cover, as usual, especially as it is manual. But the space is more than enough for a family. As you can see, we have our carry-on luggage, and it's actually pretty tiny back there. I guess you can squeeze about 8 to maybe 9 carry-on luggages like this one, but that's pretty much it. we don't really have anything else back here except for this load cover, which houses a small spare wheel. Let's check out the back seats, starting with the door card. Being a premium manufacturer, even back then in 2015, it does have soft materials on the door card. Up here on the elbow rest, where your hand would usually go, does have an interesting decor here with a locking key and the control for the electric window. Down under we have a speaker and a pocket, which is quite small actually, but anyway. Inside the car we do have pockets on the back of the front seats, a 12-volt outlet here in the back, a light fixture on the ceiling, and a central armrest with cup holders that are actually adjustable, and another cubby here for storage, and AC comes out from here on either side of the B pillars. And this is the space back here. As you can see, we do have some space for the knees, about 3 maybe 4 fingers to the front seat, which is in line with the B pillar of the car. And for the headroom, again, about a palm of space, even though the headliner is curved and it protrudes a bit here on the door side. But yeah, other than that, it's nice and comfy back here. You do have this armrest, which it does have a cover on the cup holders. If you want to use them, you have to use them like this. But yeah, it's all right. The only downside, I'm not really able to stretch my legs under the front seat, at least not in this position. Maybe it's if the seat is gonna be higher, a bit lifted, maybe I'll be able to stretch. But yeah, other than that, enough space back here. And also the usual complaint, the back seat is a bit short and quite low for my liking. Anyway, now let's check out the front. Again, a good use of soft materials on the door card, with some additional commands for locking and unlocking the doors from the inside, and another speaker here on the door card. But other than that, pretty similar in design with the one from the back. As for the seat, as you can see, we have manual controls, but at least you do have the possibility to adjust the incline of the seat, and we also have some lumbar support, as you can see in here. Now, if I'm gonna have a seat inside the car, as you can see, we have plenty of space. My knees are not anywhere near the dashboard, and the glove box is huge actually, even though it's not covered. It only has some rubber material over there, but that's pretty much it. And my only complaint, mostly as usual, we don't have a soft material here, so I'm not able to rest my knee on the center console. But as I said, it's pretty spacious, so maybe I don't have to. And finally, on the driver's side, we have the same door card, but with some additional controls for the electric windows, for the outside mirrors, and that's pretty much it. The seat, on the other hand, it does have electrical adjustments and memory function with the same lumbar support controlled here in the back, and the same possibility of adjusting the front part of the seat. On the left side of the steering wheel, we do have the controls for the lights, the opening of the trunk, and the port for the fuel of the car. Below we do have the parking brake, which is electronical, and if you step inside and actually start the engine, let me close the door. As you can see, we do have a digital dashboard, but it's really not really configurable. You mainly switch some information in the lower part, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can see the consumption of the car. Then behind the steering wheel we have the usual stocks from back in the day from Volvo. And the steering wheel itself, it's quite nice. It does have physical buttons. On the left side you have the cruise control, and on the right side the multimedia. Moving on, we have a frameless mirror, some controls for the interior lighting, which is not LED unfortunately, but oh well. Down below we have the infotainment screen, the control for the hazard lights, and input for CDs or DVDs if you're still using those, and lots of buttons. You do control from this portion the multimedia display, and from this one you control the climate unit. And also we have hill descent control, because we are in a sort of a crossover vehicle, right? Yeah, anyway, then you have the gear selector and some storage space with 12-volt outlet and a couple of cup holders that are adjustable, but they don't work really well with a small bottle. It's gonna fidget around a bit. Anyway, going back further, we have the armrest with some storage space and USB port and the auxiliary port. Oh, and I almost forgot, we do have some additional space. Welcome to the driving part of the review. We are using the usual piece of road for the test drive, and let's get the first impressions out of it. We do have quite a big car, at least for Europe. We do have a diesel engine, which is over 2 liters in size, and it's quite an unusual engine because it does have 5 cylinders. The gearbox is a torque converter, so every time you're going near the accelerator pedal, the converter is slipping. That's why you hear the noise of the engine quite pronounced when pulling away, and especially as we climbed from the filming spot. But it's completely normal. It's quite an comfortable gearbox. Its mainly task is to make your life comfortable behind the steering wheel. So are the controls. The pedals are really easy to operate, really smooth. The brakes are easy to modulate, and they do have quite a nice grip, even though it's a big car, sort of a big car, and sort of a heavy car. More of that a bit later. The steering feel, again, mainly it's oriented towards comfort. It's a light steering wheel. The interesting part about it is the fact that it doesn't only use electrical support in order to turn the wheels. It also uses hydraulics, which is quite also cool. Wait a minute. Do you see this? Oh yeah, I can't believe it. I stopped filming around here for a while, and as you saw, they fixed it. They fixed the railway crossing. It's amazing. I cannot believe it. Usually stuff like this doesn't happen in Romania, or at least not until something really messed up happens. But yeah, they are not done covering the road, but yeah. But anyway, I'm stunned that they did fix the crossing over there. Yeah. Going back to the car and our review. As I said, the controls and the whole purpose of the car is to travel in comfort. The only downside is the suspension, but I can forgive it because I understand why it has to be a bit stiffer than on other models like the S60 or the regular V60. Being the cross country, the center of gravity is a bit higher, so you need a stiffer suspension to make up for that. But other than that, the wheels are helping as well. We do have 18 inches. They are quite wide, the tires as well, so that means the car is gonna be real settled on corners. Yeah, overall that's the first impressions. The car is comfortable. Its main purpose is to enjoy it on the longer drives, on the road trips. Although it does have another negative. So this part is still bumpy as heck, so I can still test the suspension. Yeah, at least I'm not worrying about the covers, because we do sit up quite high. Oi, that was a big one. So I was talking about another disadvantage in terms of comfort, which is the noise insulation. It's not great. I was expecting a bit more because it is a premium car, premium manufacturer. So yeah, we'll see more on the highway, or actually we will hear more on the highway. But other than that, comfort, that's the main aspect of the vehicle. As we are entering the highway with the speed limit at around 80 kilometers per hour. First, I'm gonna talk about the maintenance of the car. Being a diesel engine, as usual, I'm used to recommending lower interval in terms of maintenance. Somewhere around 10,000 kilometers will be enough in terms of replacing the oil, the engine oil, and the filters. But doing so if you're using the car outside the city. If you're gonna use it inside the city, maybe you should lower that interval to about 8,000, 7,500 kilometers, something like that. Because otherwise it could get clogged, and you could get into all sorts of problems with the engine. The gearbox as well, it does need maintenance, even though it's a torque converter, especially if you use the car inside the city. I think you could do the maintenance at about 60,000 kilometers, stretch it to around 80, or I don't know, 100,000 kilometers tops if you're using the car outside the city. And also the Haldex differential, it requires some maintenance as well, quite strictly actually, at around 50 to 60,000 kilometers, even less so if you're using the car inside the city again, because all the components are gonna heat up, and all the fluids are gonna lose their property if you're gonna stay a lot of time in stuck in traffic and stop and go traffic. So that's pretty much the maintenance part. You do have to look out for suspension components if you're using the car at, as I said, kind of a soft off-road and on rough surfaces. But other than that, considering the performances of the car, you won't have to replace the tires or the brake that often, because it's not going to encourage you to drive in the sporty manner. So yeah, maybe because of the weight of the car, you'll have to replace those components, because it's quite a big car. As I said, mainly around 1.8 tons. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of maintenance. It doesn't have AdBlue, so a less component to or system to go wrong. Now we are out of the speed limit. We can see how the car performs at 90 kilometers per hour, which is now. You hear a bit of noise from the engine. Being a diesel and a 5-cylinder, it does have an interesting noise, but you do hear it, even though the gearbox keeps the engine at around 1,500 RPMs. But other than that, not a lot of wind noise. You don't hear the tires, which is interesting considering that we have winter tires. But you do hear the cars passing by because, as I said, the insulation is not great. Let's see at around 110. which is now. The RPMs are around under 2000, and you still hear the engine, obviously, even though I'm not hearing the tires that much, but the wind picks up around the mirrors. And now let's check out at 130. This is it. Now the engine is at around 2200 RPMs. Still a bit noticeable, but mainly I hear wind noise at this speed and a tiny bit of tire noise, which again, compared with the other Volvo, the newer model, S60 that I drove, it means again that we have a good insulation in the lower part of the vehicle, not so much on the top part. The windows are letting quite a lot of noise to portray inside the cabin. Now let's get on the bumpy part of the road test. We are maintaining about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, so this is not noise inside the cabin. Well, it's not great. You hear the tires on this surface, obviously, but it's not bad. I don't really hear the suspension working. I feel it, because it's a bit stiff, as I said. But for the most part, it's quite alright. It's a good compromise, this car. If you're comparing it with the regular S60, obviously that one is gonna be more comfortable, a bit more planted, a bit more sporty. But if you compare it with the XC60, the SUV from Volvo, that one is a bit more stiffer than this one. And you do sit a bit higher up in that model compared with this one. So yeah, it's a good compromise between those two if you need this sort of a vehicle. If you're only using the car inside the city or on longer trips, but you're not going to, I don't know, some top of a mountain, you're not really in need for such a vehicle. I think I understand why the SUVs are more popular right now, and they stopped making this type of vehicle. Anyway, in a bit we are gonna head back to the city, and we're gonna do a sprint from about 40-50 kilometers per hour to the legal top speed here in Romania. That's 130, and I'm gonna switch the gearbox to the sport program. That's gonna keep the RPMs a bit higher, to around 2000 RPMs. This way we are gonna see the performances of the car in terms of acceleration when you need to overtake. Let's go. That was it. Yeah, it's quite slow actually. I mean, if you know the stats of the engine and the whole car actually, you're gonna expect it to be a bit sluggish. But it is quite a noisy engine as well, if you're revving it like I just did. But for the most part, when you're gonna overtake some other vehicle, or you're gonna merge to a highway, but not in this manner, because if I would be with my family inside the car, and especially if I would be with kids inside the car, I won't do accelerations like I just did, but I would use half throttle maybe to pick up some speed. And then, interestingly enough, the car does have quite a punch. If you're keeping the RPMs between 2 and 3,000 RPMs, you're gonna be more than satisfied with the performance of the car. And in that RPM range, I hear an interesting noise coming from the engine as well, so yeah, that's interesting. Don't rev it out. Don't go with it over 4,000, because it's not gonna be comfortable at that RPM, and it's not gonna deliver any additional performance. Yeah, it's a heavy car. It does have a comfortable feel to it. It feels like it's way bigger than it actually is, and the engine as well. It does feel like sort of a 6-cylinder, 3-liter engine. But I think mainly that's because of the gearbox. It's fooling you into thinking it's a more potent car than it actually is. But as I said, if you keep it in the right RPM range and at speeds between 50-60 kilometers per hour and to about 110-120, it's gonna be more than enough power and torque. If you're not interested in those sort of things, keep it in drive, enjoy the road. You can do lots of kilometers in this car without getting tired, without the car getting tired. It's a relaxed engine, it's a diesel engine, so it's built for long drives. That's pretty much it. That's gonna be my review. I won't talk about the problems because once again the car was brought to me from Inspector Auto. It's actually for sale. I'm gonna put the link of the ads in the description of the video, just so you can see the whole spec of the car. So I do have it for today. They're helping me with some cars, as they did with the Seat Leon, the black one. So yeah, overall, that's gonna be it. I do have another thing to mention. I don't like the fact that we don't have auto hold. you have to keep the brake pedal depressed while stationary. But other than that, the car is more than adequate for a family for long trips. Thank you for watching. I hope that you subscribe to the channel and leave your impressions in the comment section or on social media. Until next time, see ya.